What's going on, people? Myke C-Town here with another episode of Out of My Element, where you guys get to pick the albums that I review. For those of you that noticed, there was a glitch in the last poll. I was using a free site, and at some point they decided to switch it up on me and make it to where for the free accounts there can only be a certain number of votes per poll, which doesn't really work for this. Yeah, the actual voting ended a bit early, so I went ahead and I took a tally of the votes at the current moment, and it was tied with this album and a couple other albums. It was weird, like a three-way tie. I'm definitely going to do this album. I may go ahead and do the other two, or I may go ahead and create another poll. I don't know yet. I'm still kind of debating that. But this is an album that I kind of wanted to cover anyway. So yeah, the winner of this poll is gonna be Idols with Joy as an Act of Resistance. And I don't know much about this band. I don't even think I'd heard of them until my homie Rich Owens told me to go listen to them a few months back. And I think I did listen to them, or at least a few songs, but they just didn't really stick with me. But then when me, Rich, and Curtis from the Pitch Control, we did a video talking about some of our favorite albums of 2018. If you haven't watched that video, make sure you go check that out. But Rich went on and on about this album. In fact, this was one of the only albums on the list that he actually listened to. Then coincidentally, I went to check the poll to see which album won for this month's Out of My Element, and lo and behold, it's this one. So yeah, so I knew this was a punk band, but I didn't know what kind of punk band this was. But yeah, listening to the first song, Colossus, I was actually caught off guard. It was driving, and it was noisy, and it was almost tribal. It started off very kind of melancholic, kind of mid-range, mid-paced. It immediately gave me a mix of Sonic Youth, Crass, and like Algiers, which is a huge positive for me because I love all three of those bands. But it's not at all what I was expecting to hear. I liked it, and it got even more interesting once the song progressed and it kind of went in a totally different direction. It got faster, and it kind of broke out into a more standard punk rock sounding track. But it was a great start to an album. The next song was Never Fight a Man with a Perm. And it's a song about brainless meatheads and their machismo. It sounded like a more punk rock Block Party to me. Again, that's not an insult because I love old Block Party. I can't say that I was totally into this song, but I did find it really interesting. The noise rock elements are really compelling. The kind of unconventional song structure that they used here is also very cool. And it's here that I start to really take notice of the singer's very sarcastic and kind of snarky sense of humor. The lyrics to the song are pretty hysterical. You look like a walking thyroid. You're not a man, you're a gland. You're one big neck with sausage hands. Coming from the Atlanta punk rock scene, I encountered many people that fit this description. I really like the song I'm Scum. It's a really tongue-in-cheek song about being a scummy leftist, you know? It's got a lot of energy, some really dirty riffs, some fantastic lyrics here, and you feel a whole lot of passion in this song. And this Snowflakes and Avalanche is probably my favorite line on this whole album. Probably one of my favorite lines from a song this year. It's fucking brilliant. The song June is one of the most heart-wrenching songs I've heard in a long time. It's about the singer's daughter who was stillborn, and the lines, "a stillborn but stillborn, I am a father," they're really touching. The idea of parents still feeling like parents because their child was born, it just didn't live. It's an odd while still incredibly interesting stance, and it really makes you feel a lot. And the way the singer is delivering the lines, it makes you really feel like he's trying to convey a point here that he wants you to understand. Television was another standout track. The song is about the idea of saying fuck you to conventional beauty standards, you know. The instrumental for this song is great. The pounding drums, the bass riff is really great here. And of course, it's more fantastic lyrics. I go outside and I feel free because I smash mirrors and fuck TV. The idea of saying fuck you to the importance of image, right? Something that's reinforced every time you turn on the the TV and further reinforced when you look at yourself in the mirror. You know, I like how he's saying he goes outside and he feels free from the pressures because he stopped worrying about what the TV says about the reflection that he sees in the mirror. It's really quite simple, but I think it hits home pretty well. Listen, overall, I really dig this album. I think it's a fun listen, but I also think it's a really intense listen. They're covering a lot of points while keeping a central focus on social and political issues in England, and well, not just in England and elsewhere. But I love that they deliver these songs about these really heavy issues like loss and immigration and toxic masculinity, but they do it in such a snarky and snotty way, but not one that would make you tune off. You know, it's still a way that properly delivers the message. And I love that through the anger of the album, you know, through the grit and through the smart assery, there's still an overarching positive message of unity and togetherness here. The instrumentals are very diverse. The songs have a lot that set themselves apart from each other while still keeping an aesthetic that holds the whole thing together quite beautifully. There are elements of noise rock, there's elements of punk rock, like traditional punk rock, post-punk. There's oi mixed up in here. There's so much going on here that comes together to form a great album, a very memorable album. But I think a lot of people are enjoying this album a bit more than I am. You know, but that kind of kept me coming back to it. You know, when people that I really respect, like Rich Owens, like Curtis, like Fantano, like Mark from Spectrum Pulse, when a lot of people that I respect speak highly of an album or artists that I don't get into immediately, I feel the need to keep returning to them so I can try to see what they see in it. But sometimes you just have to come to the conclusion that you see things differently. So while I think this is a great album, it's not one that I'm gonna return to over and over and over again to the point where I would throw it into my list of best albums of the year. But I would never argue with somebody that did have this in their list. And plus, I may wake up in June of 2019 and say, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking for the past 6-7 months, you know? We'll just have to wait and see. You know, hit me up in June and we will discuss. But yeah, that's it for this review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you want to get in on the action, make sure that you become a patron, because only patrons can actually put the suggested albums on the list. Everybody else can vote, but only patrons can suggest the albums. I'm gonna debate whether or not I want to cover those other two albums that were voted in. I may just go ahead and start the slate clean and let you guys do this over. We'll see. But yeah, happy Christmas Eve if this is up by then. If I'm a lazy fuck and it's not up until tomorrow, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Kwanzaa, Hail Pyman, Hail Satan, all that good shit. And yeah, as usual, thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace out, boy.